When choosing a career path or contemplating a switch to another one, of course, what you're going to be thinking about is if your new dream job has a future. And data analytics is no different. As with almost all technical industries, a lot of new technology terms get thrown around like augmented analytics, analytics as a service, AI, and it can be really hard to figure out what's actually going on and how this is going to impact the industry, which is exactly why I'm making this video. If you're new here, my name is Sofia. I worked in the data analytics and data management industry for almost 4 years, and even today in my current job as a program manager, I use the skills that I gained and honed during that time. Just as a disclaimer though, these are my views and my opinions, some more research than others. So if you agree or disagree, that's completely fair and fine. Let's have a discussion about what we think this industry will look like in the future. Personally, I have to say, I don't see data analytics going anywhere. Even at the moment, we have tons of jobs, some 400,000 open in the US and about 50,000 in the UK for analyst jobs. This is just a reflection of the fact that the demand for the industry has grown immensely as more and more data is produced in basically everything we do on a daily basis. Not that all organizations are on board yet. We do still see companies that haven't really made the investment into either the data infrastructure or the human capital to really make a dent in the potential that data could have for their business. We're still seeing situations where data professionals are actually being hired to these companies and expected to make magic happen on a completely lacking infrastructure and with very small and overworked teams. And that's kind of like hiring an interior decorator to try and build a house on their own. Not very efficient. In the meantime, new technologies are creating great opportunities for companies where we have well-functioning analytics teams and enough resources to take advantage. Previously, an analyst may have created a scorecard or a one-dimensional report to reflect the data, but these days the technology is starting to give us opportunities to build more multi-layered and smarter models to gain insights. Where previously a lot of manual work has gone into choosing what datasets are actually relevant, going forward we're probably going to see more and more automation helping determine what data is relevant and what connections can be made, so that way data science teams can actually be more effective and efficient. This way we'll really just be able to enable richer analytics, not the extinction of analysts by any means. The only thing is that data analysts, as most technology professionals, just need to keep up understanding and learning these new technologies, but that's what we all do on a daily basis anyway, so nothing new there, business as usual. All good. What I'm also seeing is kind of a rise in no-code solutions, visual and even invisible analytics. So this is something that gets talked about quite a lot in some industry publications. For the most part, analytics has kind of started going mainstream, which means that in a lot of companies, there are now solutions being built that enable people without technical backgrounds, without coding skills or querying skills to access data, which is great because a lot of the times the barrier to using this data has been that the business user that actually needs the insights cannot access them. So this has been great, and it has actually taken a lot of work away from data analysts that previously had to do all of this manually in individual requests for individual queries just for someone to acquire the data that they need. Analytics as a service or self-service is gaining more popularity. You see all of these easy to use visual drag and drop tools that enable someone who has no technical background and little to no querying skills at all to actually get the data in their hands that they need, and this puts the data that is needed to create business insights to the hands of people that need it at scale, which is exciting. I think there are a couple ways that we can go from here, and I think both of these are probably gonna appear in the analytics space to some extent. One being augmented analytics, which would enable us to use natural language processing models and artificial intelligence to help find connections to the data that business users might not actually find themselves or think of, as well as possibly when combined with these natural language processing capabilities, we could even get tools where you can essentially write your query similarly to a Google search, and the machine would return a result, a dataset, and an explanation of how it came to this conclusion and to this data set. And that could be quite exciting if combined with, say, speech recognition. I've heard this be referred to as conversational analytics. So essentially just making it even easier for users to access data and data insights and using artificial intelligence to get there. Obviously, we're not there yet. Do I think that this is going to be super popular or super common in the next couple of years? Probably not. But I do want to say that these kinds of ideas of how we could make data more accessible and easy to use is quite exciting for me. Another view, however, is that business users view accessing data and sort of getting these insights themselves as a distraction and don't really go ahead and use things like dashboards or go and acquire this data themselves, which obviously then means that these insights don't end up in the hands of the users that need them. But we could go into a direction of sort of invisible analytics, which would mean that we're building frameworks at the back end of business systems that can build alerts into the workflows for the people that are using the platforms. And some of these we can already see, but things like alerts of saying like, okay, maybe you should call this client with a short explanation why. Maybe they haven't bought in a while, or maybe there was something in the news about them that could be interesting from a business perspective. This is kind of, if you think about it, similar to what we already see in consumer products, say fitness watches. I'm wearing one from Garmin. Instead of giving me all the raw data all the time, it actually gives me alerts, like maybe go ahead and move because I haven't done so in an hour, or that I didn't sleep so well, so maybe take it easy today. It doesn't give me all of the statistics about every aspect of my sleep. It interprets them to an easy to understand format for me, and I can use that easily without actually having to comb through all the data myself. So I think that kind of data processing and use of data will probably be also very popular in business systems in order to actually make the insights more actionable without overwhelming the user. Either way, someone needs to obviously build these frameworks, so it doesn't really cancel the need for data analysts at all. We need data professionals to do this. It's just a very different way of showing the data insights to the actual end user. Another thing that is growing is what we could call event-driven architecture, fast data, continuous intelligence. A love child has many names, as we say in Finnish at least. But essentially what this means is, how do we, in as close to real time as possible, track events and determine a course of action? An important question in big data has been, how do we make insights actionable? How do we actually make use of all of these insights that we have in our data in an efficient way? And I think continuous intelligence is coming to sort of bridge that gap. Real-time analytics is something that we're already seeing in examples of, like real-time dashboards. So if you've ever seen something that's real-time or close to real-time in terms of data being fed into a dashboard or any other tool where you're going to be able to see that, this is continuous intelligence, and you're able to actually look at things pretty close to as they're happening and take action accordingly. What this means is, instead of creating static reports, we're going to be seeing data analysts build data pipelines and frameworks that they can feed data directly into and put these real-time insights in the hands of the business users that can then make a difference based on that data to the business. What I think we'll also be seeing is an increase in prescriptive analytics. And if you've seen my video on how to get started with data analytics, I've talked about the fact that there are kind of different types of analytics, and the two most common ones that we normally see are descriptive analytics, which, as the name suggests, describe how something happened. So say a sales team's performance report for the past month. Predictive analytics, on the other hand, are trying to take that historical data and any data that we know about the future and use those to predict what outcome might happen going forward. So that same sales team might take their last 3 months of reporting and some other information that they need about the future, I don't know, like holiday schedules or any big events or the time of the year and any trends related to it, and try and predict how the team is likely to do over the next couple of months. And that is predictive analytics. It's trying to predict what's going to happen. Prescriptive analytics is a little bit more advanced, and it's trying to understand how to do something. What is an ideal course of action to take in order to reach a goal? So this usually demands a little bit more advanced methods. So it might be machine learning or AI, computational modeling procedures, it might be business rules, or all of this combined. And it might sound very like weird and abstract, but let's take a very relatable example. The TikTok For You feed, for example, is an example of a prescriptive analytic solution in the form of an algorithm that is trying to figure out what is the best next video to show you. It's literally just trying to figure out what is the next course of action, what to show you in order to keep you watching. But another thing that you might have noticed is sometimes you get your credit card frozen for no apparent reason. And a lot of the times there are actually these types of models working in anti-fraud and trying to prevent people's credit cards from being used in a fraudulent way. Fraud prevention actually uses your previous buying patterns in order to understand if a purchase made on your card is out of the ordinary, whether that's by location, by some amount, by what you were buying. All of these things combined, they're trying to understand if they should freeze your card, if that is the optimal course of action in order to make sure sure that your money is safe. So that's another way of using prescriptive analytics. There are obviously more ways, and if you want to Google that, feel free, but I think more of this is going to be seen in the future as well. While all of this is very exciting, whenever there is new exciting technology coming out, what tends to happen is some technical confusion. And it's not necessarily that we're not understanding the technologies themselves, is that a lot of the time business leaders are actually not focused on the business questions anymore, but they're so excited about the new technologies and the possibilities that they're focusing on what they can do with the technology, not what they should be doing in order to solve a business problem. And this tends to end up with businesses investing in a lot of new technology that they don't really know what to do with, or what goal it's actually trying to achieve, or what problem it's trying to solve. And I'm guessing you have probably seen that in the past years, with the rise of machine learning and AI becoming more and more household terminology and everyone kind of knowing what they are, anything with a piece of predictive analytics essentially has been branded as AI or machine learning. And while that's not necessarily really the case, it just tends to be this period of kind of confusion and not really knowing what to focus on. Well, being excited and curious about new tech is all well and good. We all love to see it, love to do it. It's still more important to make sure that you're focusing on the business user, the end user being able to use and understand the analytics provided rather than all the fancy tech behind it. Because sometimes the tech doesn't even have to be fancy at all. The analytics is not the point. The tech is not the point. The point is to solve a business problem. And that's really what it's all about. It's about solving a business problem, because not everything that can be done with data actually solves a relevant problem or answers a business question. With all of this said, what I think you're asking if you're thinking about whether data analytics has a future is whether if you acquire the skill set, it's going to be useful to you and valuable to you going forward in your career, and the answer is absolutely yes. Obviously, every industry changes over time, and data analytics will be no exception. Will it go anywhere, however? I don't think so. And even if you eventually end up moving away from data analytics, as for example I have, the skill set that you learn will be hugely valuable in pretty much any job that you go into from here on out, because data has become such an essential part of just working life in general that you're really going to be well off if you end up working in this industry for any period of time, really. With that said, I hope you found this video interesting. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. So whether you agree with me, whether you think there are other trends that I did not cover here, whether you disagree with me, which is also totally fine, just my 2 cents on this topic. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, do hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you in our little community over here, and I will see you in my next video. Cheers.